All right, lots to get across, isn't there? Here and overseas. To do that, I'm now joined by the Herald Sun columnist and author Patrick Carline and senior fellow at the Menzies Research Centre, Nick Cater. Well, gentlemen, welcome. We'll start, of course, with the first appearance of Donald Trump since the attempted assassination over the weekend. The former president was triumphant when he strode into the RNC room in Milwaukee. There was a standing ovation. He didn't speak, but he was officially confirmed unanimously as a Republican presidential nominee. He also announced via social media the author JD Vance would be his running mate. Nick, I'll start with you. I want your reaction on his appearance today. I thought he looked strong, but clearly, and Joe Hockey was there, he sent me a text to the same effect. He said he looks really knocked around by events on the weekend. Well, we all can understand that. What's your reaction to the vision and also the pick of JD Vance to join his ticket?
Well, I think you're right. Donald Trump is looking very strong. One's tempted to say unbeatable, but of course you wouldn't dare say that in politics at the moment. And the events of the last 48 hours have just been incredible, Peter. I mean, if you'd have workshopped that as a plot for a novel, you couldn't have come up with what actually happened. 2 centimetres one way, the man was dead. 2 centimetres the other way, and it was a shot fired at the rally. But obviously it hit him, and that his reaction to that was just... I can't find any other words to describe it except extraordinary. So he's going in. The fewer words he says in general, I think the more popular he is. He doesn't actually have to say too much now. We know what he represents. As for JD Vance, I'm very, very excited by this appointment. You know, the Republicans have been moving for more than 20 years towards picking up those working class, blue collar working class people. The Democrats still struggle to understand why working class people would not vote for them, but that's definitely the case. So to have JD Vance in that chair, and also JD Vance's intellectual credentials are second to none. That book he wrote, Hillbilly Elegy, sets out clearly what the Trump agenda is in a very clear and coherent manner. He's a very important addition to the team, and I think the reaction to the Democrats of his appointment show what a great appointment that was.
I also think, and I made this point at the top of the show, Nick, that if they do get into the White House, he'll put some steel into the running of the administration. It was, seen to be a bit chaotic in the first era of Trump. I think it'd be very different if he comes back in with Vance. Patrick, clearly, I mean, Nick's made the point, there's a real push by Republicans into that blue-collar territory, not only in the choice of Vance, but, I mean, lots of speakers took to the stage. There was retirees, small business owners. There was a Latino woman who didn't vote with Trump last time. She said she's changed her mind. Really key demographic, obviously, they're Latinos. But the appearance of this Teamsters Union president, the first such Teamster in 121 years to turn up to an RNC convention, I mean, he is clearly signalling that the Democrat base is up for grabs. Here's a grab actually from what he had to say. This is Sean O'Brien, president of the Teamsters.
And I think we all can agree, whether people like him or they don't like him, in light of what happened to him on Saturday, he has proven to be one tough SOB.
Patrick, this will further discombobulate the Dems, won't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I think it says more about the Democratic campaign than necessarily the Trump campaign at the moment. It is so far off the rails. It's untenable to a group like the Teamsters, who historically have endorsed the Democrats going back a very long way. Sean O'Brien, in what he said, talked about JD Vance. Obviously, he's a massive win in terms of picking up that working class sort of vote in those swing states like Ohio and Pennsylvania. But he talked about him as somebody who truly cares about working class people. And that sort of bridges a divide, doesn't it, between the Republicans and some of those blue collar workers who weren't necessarily convinced. Trump doesn't have to do much at the moment. He's got JD Vance and he's got people like Sean O'Brien. Basically, if not, he doesn't even have to endorse Trump. It's just the fact that he has disendorsed, in effect, the Democrats that is so critical at this moment.
And Nick, just quickly, I mean, Joe Biden's struggling. We know that. There's a war inside the Democrats. Some want to replace him, but to make it easy, he basically has to resign. He was apologising today for his comments. I referenced them last night where he talked about a bullseye on Trump. They're in a world of pain, aren't they?
Well, they are. And this is the time when you need a leader. The Democrats need a leader who is strong on his feet, quick thinking, and can be relied not to say the wrong thing. We don't have that, of course, in Joe Biden. So, you know, his verbal problems, the issues with his cognitive ability, they're only going to be amplified by this, unfortunately, for the Democrats. And JD Vance, once again, I gather he's a millennial, actually, Peter. I can't believe we've actually put a millennial in the potentially in the vice presidency, but I gather that's what he is. So he will only serve to, exaggerate and show up that difference in age with Biden.